If you're a CEO of a large company, you're really worried about two things. The first of which is my size continually delivering benefits to my people and to my customers, or am I starting to suffer too much from complexity that size inevitably brings? And then the second question is, do my people even remember why we were great in the first place? Am I reconnected to that initial sense of insurgency, that initial nobler mission? Or are my people starting just to think of us as an incumbent, sort of protecting market positions and economics as opposed to pursuing a nobler mission? So a lot of work we've been doing on Founders Mentality is to help you CEOs deal with that issue. And we're going to assume, you're a CEO of an incumbent, you get the scale and scope thing. But to be honest, it's amazing how few times a leadership team actually goes through and asks the question, are we really benefiting from scale and scope, or are people just mired in complexity? So we've tried to define what are the benefits of scale and scope. The first thing is, are you benefiting from leadership economics? And we mean by that, are all your businesses leaders and exerting leadership? And too often we see in resource allocation process, you're not disproportionately allocating resources to leaders. You're not demanding more from leaders. You're actually allocating resources against last year's revenues, plus or minus 1%. The second thing is, are we learning? The whole unassailable benefit of scale and scope is you should have more accumulated experience than anybody else. You should be learning every day. But does our experience actually translate into good feedback loops from the markets, good learning, and good performance? And are we encouraging peer-to-peer learning systems, or are we trapped in the old kind of hub and spoke thinking? We form a head of marketing, he collects best practices, introduces a way of marketing, as opposed to encouraging our people to talk to each other on the front line. And then the third benefit of scale and scope is that we can exert market power and influence. And it's not just, can we influence regulatory affairs within the rules of the game of our industry? But when you started as an insurgent, you didn't care about market boundaries. You were trying to redefine markets. You were trying to go further. And one of the observations we have is the bigger a company gets, the smaller it actually thinks. You narrowcast yourself into precise definitions of industries as opposed to thinking about yourselves as future makers and redefining industry boundaries. But let's assume you've got that right, that notion of, yes, we are benefiting from scale and scope. The other question is, are we really, really behaving like a founder? And do we have founder mentality in the culture and values of the company? Well, what is founder mentality? Well, the first thing is, are we obsessed with the front line of our business? Every day, do we define strategy as what occurs with the frontline actions and behaviors of our people? Or are we stuck talking about strategy for weeks and never even mentioning the front line? The key part of your business is the kings of your business, the people accountable for every day delivering what you promise to customers. First action for a CEO, form a council of kings. Get together with that group and reconnect yourself with the front line and learn about next steps. The second issue is all around owner mindset. No kidding, do our people think they're owners of the business, or are they happy in the bureaucracy we've created? Do they hate bureaucracy? Do they have a bias to action in everything they do, or not? Then that's a big issue. Have we killed the energy vampires in our business? What are energy vampires? They're people every day that are sucking the life out of your organization by saying no to everybody's proposed activity. You need to eliminate from the company, grab a couple silver stakes, start driving them through the hearts. The other thing is you can learn from founders about some quick wins. Everything you do signals the cadence you're expecting from the organization. So reintroduce the notion of a Monday meeting. It can be any day of the week. But the Monday meeting is used by founders to say, once a week, we'll meet as a leadership team and solve all the issues that are blocking our people's ability to take action. That way, they only get to blame the organization for 4 days for their inability to take action. You need to reintroduce that cadence. In contrast, when you have an innovation meeting once a quarter, what you're telling your people is the CEO only thinks about innovation every 89 days. So somehow you need to signal a different cadence. Another tool is what we just call lines in the sand that are used by founders every day. Founders signal to everybody, look, there are certain things that if you do, you're going to get a call from me in a minute. It could be never go below this gross margin line, never lose share. What are your lines in the sand as a CEO? What have you signaled that, no kidding, it's tripwire time and you're going to get a call from me? The final thing is founders are insurgents. There's a huge sense of insurgency in the company. Everybody knows they're at war with the industry on behalf of an underserved customer segment. What is the insurgency of your company? You need to rediscover it and make it relevant today. You need to give your people a nobler mission, and ultimately, they need to be able to answer the question of why. Why do they exist as a company? Why are they part of this company? What are they going to do to contribute it going forward? And I think there's something fundamental going on in business. If 25 years ago, business was revolutionized by the notion of an owner mindset, what we were doing is we were saying no longer are CEOs custodians or administrators over a bureaucracy. They are directly responsible for value creation, directly connected with shareholders. That was the revolution of owner mindset. I think we need that plus the notion of founder mentality that reconnects the CEO back to the front line of the business, but also has the CEO be the custodian of the insurgency. They need to lead the process that lets all their people understand the answer to the question why. Why were we great once, and why do we deserve to be great again in the next chapter of the company?